This conference will now be recorded.
So I hope you people are able to see the screen. I hope everybody are able to see my screen. Okay, so now we are going to learn what is financial modeling. So can anybody tell me what is financial modeling is? Before I start up, I wanted to know whether you have any idea about it. Right? Nobody is answering. Am I audible? I hope I'm
Yes,
audible to
ma'am.
everyone. Okay. So if you don't respond, I won't get to know whether I'm audible or you are not able to hear my voice or what is the issue. So whatever you know, it is not that you must be aware of this subject or anything. You don't know. That is why we are giving the training to you. So any some idea about what is financial modeling, where it will be used, why it is used, anything as such? No idea.
Ma'am,
So
models of finance that might be used for businesses.
yes, very good.
You kind of create models which will help the business to decide something.
Okay.
Is
Then
it like
anyone else?
how when you have money, where you have to invest in which manner so that you get the highest amount of returns from it at the end?
Okay. So anyone else? So very good. Good try.
Ma'am, maybe financial modeling is something that helps us see the future, like we want to see our future and give us some
Related to the
idea
business. Related to the
related to the
business.
business.
Yes, very good. Then anyone else? Okay. So financial modeling. So financial modeling. So now most of the time when we are completing our studies, we'll be having some ideas like to start up a business, or I wanted to study further, or I wanted to join for any good companies, well established business, well established company, something like that. We'll be having the ideas. So what if I'm having some idea to start up my business? So I think in you girls, anybody must be having the idea to start up a business. Like I wanted to start and run a business or anything as such, or everybody wanted to work for the other people.
Not yet decided, ma'am.
Okay. So what about others? So anybody must be having some interest that I can try starting up with my own business. Anything. It is not that it should be very huge investment or something like that. Any sort of business. Anybody is having any ideas about it. Nobody has any idea of starting up your own business and to be self-made. Okay, so now just imagine I wanted to start a business. Okay, so now I have a lot of interest in foods. I wanted to start up a now. you tell me what are the things that I need to concentrate about. I don't know anything about the business, everything. So what are the things that I need to keep in mind in before I start up with the business? What are the precautions I need to take? How should I plan? Anything as such, if you have to guide me.
Who all are your competitors, and then how much money you need to put in, and then who all
Okay,
will
how
be
much I need
investing
to
with
invest?
you.
Okay. So when I'm starting up
And
the business, I need to see about the
ma'am, the demand
competitors.
of the product in the market.
Okay.
Raise capital, ma'am.
Yes. Somebody was telling something.
Analyzing the business environment.
Analyzing the business environment. Okay. Very good.
Ma'am,
Taste and
having the
preference, ma'am.
knowledge about raising the capital.
About raising the capital. Okay. So these are
Knowing
the
the
things
size
I
of
need to keep in mind when I have to start up with a business. So I'm a total fresher. I don't know anything. My interest is in restaurants. I wanted to start a restaurant. So these are the things that I need to keep in mind.
From where you'll get your raw materials, where you'll establish your
Yes.
physical outlet.
You have to choose a business
Yes.
model.
Knowledge from food and hygiene department.
Yes, very good. So where I'm going to establish, the first thing that is going to come into picture is where I'm going to establish my um, outlet. So what is the size of my business? What is the investment that I'm going to make? So these are some of the key factors that will come very importantly when I'm planning to start up a business. Okay, so imagine I'm going to start up a restaurant in a commercial place, because if it is in residential area, restaurants are going to round. So I cannot start up in a residential area. So I will search for some college area or commercial places where my business can run. And size of the business. What is the investment that I'm going to make to start up the business? Then what type of food I'm going to prepare? So then for that preparation, from where I'm going to get the raw materials? So all those things. So without having any idea about a business, I cannot just directly jump into a business, isn't it? So what I will do is, any business when I will see. So like if I'm talking about any well established restaurant or something, so initially when they started, how did they started their business? Then how did it run? Then finally now after 5 years, 10 years, where they are standing. So when I see this 5 years, 10 years, so I can predict the future, how well they are going to, still more the growth, how it is going to be in the upcoming 5 years or in the upcoming 10 years. So based on certain things, when I see, so based on certain things, I can calculate that if I am investing so much of money, and if I'm establishing my outlet in such an area, or if I am preparing, so these are the food items what I'm going to serve. So all those things, it is going to play a very important role in order to see the growth in my business. So initially when I'm starting my business, I'll be starting from zero only. So slowly I'm going to establish, I'm going to see the growth. So after 5 years, I'm well established now. In that 5 years, past 5 years, how I have made the journey. So by that I can see in the upcoming 5 years where I'm going to stand. So financial modeling is nothing but based on the past, looking at the present, we are going to predict the future. Okay. So this is about the financial modeling. So data is the new oil. So as I told that if I wanted to start up with a business, first I need to have a proper idea. Just not because I have the interest in restaurant, I can just jump into the business or something. I need to have a proper guidelines. I need to have proper idea. So how it has to be started. So something like that. So when I am doing any such business or any ongoing restaurant I'm going to buy. So I don't want to take a risk where I'm starting from the scratch and I don't know how I'm going to establish. So if I am telling that I'm going to buy an ongoing business, the restaurant business, okay, which is already there from past 5 10 years. So simply I like the flavors of the food over there, or if I have to make an investment in that kind of business, I'm going to see the past. So how they started, how the journey was, how the profit ratio is increasing as years on year. So today where they are. So if I am going to buy that business, how I'm going to make the profit? Okay, there are two ways. One, I'm starting the business from the scratch, or I'm going to buy the business which is already ongoing. So it is well established, everything is done. I'm just going to take over that business and continue with my thing. So that time data becomes very important. Means the past history of that business. So how that business was running. So today, if I am acquiring, what are the things that I need to concentrate in order to improve the productivity, improve the growth, improve the profit ratio, whatever it is. So the data is nothing but the past history of any business. Okay. So now I'll give you some conditions. You just tell me if you were there, what you are going to do it. So here one of the client is there. Hi, I am Mehul. I want to start a franchisee of Tata Motors. Shall I invest rupees 10 crore into it? So now you just imagine that you are in that situation where you wanted to start the franchisee of Tata Motors. So will you will be investing or if yes? Sorry, ma, your voice is not clear. Anybody can tell me, can Mehul go for a franchisee of Tata Motors where he can take the risk of investing 10 crores into it?
Yes, ma'am, he can go it because Tata Motors is well established company,
Mm,
so the risk will be much less than compared to a new person's if he is
yes,
investing in something new, like in
yes, yes.
startup or something.
So he
Ma'am,
can definitely,
the
yes, ma'am.
returns for his investment will be high.
Okay. So he can definitely go for the franchisee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, has your friends told? Definitely he can go ahead with the franchisee of Tata Motors because Tata Motors is already established. Everybody knows what is Tata Motors is, how they are in the market. So if I am going to make an investment in such a well established company, definitely I'm not going to face any great losses. Maybe some here and there I might face the loss, but not in such a way that I'm going to quit or something like that. So definitely Mr. Mehul can go with the franchisee of Tata Motors. Now, we want to bid for National Highway Pune Mumbai project. Is it feasible to bid for rupees 1000 crores? So you must have been heard this term bid. If you know, can you explain me what is that term bid?
Ma'am, so the government puts up this tender or a contract telling that they're looking for people who would like to, take up the contract, telling that we propose the idea of building a national highway from Pune to Mumbai.
Very good.
So based on this information, a lot of the companies who are interested in building this highway for the government, they put in their quotations like how much they're willing to pay for it or what their
Yes.
budget is and how feasible they are. So based on that, the government would give them the contract or the tender.
Okay, very good. So very well explained also. So usually when I'm quoting this, tendering this quotation and all, so can I go for the highest rate or I need to go for the lowest rate?
Lowest rate.
So who is going to take that bid?
Lowest, ma'am.
The
Lowest, the
government
one.
has to take the government has to take up the bid which is lowest rate.
Yes. So usually whenever it is coming to the terms of government, they are going to hire the person who is going to quote the lowest amount. And when they have to sell something, the one who is going to quote for highest amount, for them they are going to sell. Purchase and sales. There are two ways. So government means the lowest in order to get the work done. So if they are if they are doing the work for others, it's the highest quote. So definitely here we should have the proper planning. So now if I am talking that I'm going to tender the quote for the lowest amount, so the risk factors, is there any risk factors in this?
No, ma'am, there will not be any risk factor because
No,
this is with
ma'am.
the government.
No, no,
It
it
is
is
risk
not
free.
about making the profit or loss. So see, now I'm tendering the quote for the lowest amount, isn't it? So in that lowest amount I need to plan accordingly, where I'm talking about the labors or the charges, whatever I'm going to pay, the raw materials, everything. So there I think that I'm going to take a risk. So there I think we need to have a proper planning, from where I'm going to buy the raw materials, the person from whom I'm going to buy the raw materials, is he providing me at the cheaper rate, as the at the same time the quality also should be maintained, the labors, everything. So in this case, we the one who is well experienced, so the one who is having a proper knowledge about all the things, where would I get the raw materials at the cheaper rate, and how to get the work done from the labors even at the cheaper rate, so that even though I'm going at the lowest rate also, I'm still finding the profit, isn't it? So here the experience has to be there, where I'm taking a lot of risk. So I must be aware of the risk what I'm going to face. So how am I going to handle that risk, and how I'm going to overcome those risks? Okay. So this is one situation. Now let's go for the next one. One of my client wants to invest in capital market. Can I buy the share of Reliance at rupees 600? So Ms. Ritika wants to know. So it's about share market. I think you people must be having some knowledge about it. Can Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Ritika?
If she wants to buy, she can buy. But then there is a risk that if the market falls, the
Okay.
share price the price of the share will might
Hmm.
fall down.
So now I wanted to make an investment. So in the capital market, the same Reliance at the rate of 600 rupees. What are the things, the factors that I need to keep in mind? And I can decide that yes, I can make the investment in this particular share.
Ma'am,
What are
what
the
are the
factors that I
future
need?
plans
Okay.
and their
Ma'am,
past records?
lower risk.
Okay. At the lower risk. Then,
Higher returns in future.
okay. So how would I know the higher returns? So in future, I have to know that there is higher returns. So how would I get to know that this particular share is going to pay me the high returns?
Like, ma'am, from past records, we can analyze.
Yes, very good. Yeah, tell me, ma. So past records in in the sense history. So I need
Yes,
to read
ma'am.
the market rate. How finance is working. So the
Yeah,
marketing
the
trend,
growth
I
of
need
the
to check.
Reliance market.
Yes. So if I see the past history, the profit margins are increasing, where and all it has decreased, where the loss is happening at a high rate, so again at what speed they are growing towards the profit. So all those things, when I look at the past history of Reliance shares, then I'll get to know that if I make the investment also, I can hold the shares for 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. If I hold the shares, I'm going to make a handsome profit. Or if I, so that is going to give me the clarity that how long should I hold that shares with me, so that I can find, then I can make an handsome profit. So immediately I bought the shares today, within 10 days, 15 days, within a week I'm going to sell it, means the risk is more, where the loss will be there. So when I study the market, so how the past history has happened for Reliance, so it will be easy for me to analyze and predict. So in the upcoming future, so till what time I need to hold in order to make a very good profit from it. So again, here we are talking about the past history of those shares related to the Reliance company. How much amount shall we pay to acquire DLF Infra? So have you heard this term, acquisition, merging and acquisition? What does acquire means?
It's like taking over another company or having more than 51% of shares of another company.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Then what does the term merging means?
It is like two companies get together to
Getting
form
merged
one
together.
company. Yes.
Okay. So how much?
Amalgamating together.
Sorry?
Amalgamating together.
Yes, yes.
In
Very good. So here you have the proper idea. Like acquiring the DLF Infra means the already well established company I'm going to acquire. So then the amount. So if I have to tell that a well established company like DLF Infra, so it is well established everything, I have to acquire. So on what basis I'm going to acquire?
The amount of goodwill that company has, and if it
Very
is
good.
making enough profits, or if it is going down also, or it has enough goodwill, we can acquire the company.
Very good. So it is on the goodwill. So we can make out that if the goodwill is there, so I can definitely make a handsome investment in the business. So now we saw different scenarios wherein we were talking about the investment only, directly or indirectly we were talking about the investment. So any such investments that is happening, so either I am going to start up a business, or I'm going to acquire a business, or I'm just making the investment to make the profit, or whatever it is. So here the proper planning is required. So that proper planning is going to work out only when you have the proper details related to the past, the present, so that I can calculate the future. So why do I need financial modeling? So if I use financial modeling, how it is going to help me out? So the annual process and planning. So I hope most of them over here are accounts background students. So
Yes,
can
ma'am.
any yes, can anybody explain me what is this annual process and planning?
preparing the trading account, P&L account and balance sheet.
Okay, very good. So then financing. So how am I going to fund my business? The investment, how it is going to happen? So either the entire amount is going to be 100% is going to be invested by myself, or I'm going to take any loans or anything as such, or I'm going to give it on shares. How the finance will be applied? Radical changes in volume, cash insufficiencies. Can anybody explain this?
Checking a cash flow statement.
Very good. Business
How the
expansion. Yeah, yeah. Tell me, ma.
how our cash will be generated, and how it will be distributed. It so that we have a profit also, and we have cash in hand also to
Very
distribute to
good.
the people.
Very good. So business expansion,
Investment.
investment, then
Having the same like setting up other branches or in other locations.
yes. So business expansion means if my business is well established, I am making a handsome profit. So I will think about expanding my business. So by the size, or I'm going to create the other branches in the different locations. So by which my business is going to get expanded. Then new ventures, it is the same thing. So business expansion, increasing size of your business and starting up with the different branches. So when I have certain things, all these things are going to be given clarity by financial modeling. How this financial modeling is going to work, we'll see. So what is financial modeling? So representation of an entity's financial statements and accounts to gain useful insight, focus on future results. So as I told, based on the past history, I can calculate my future. So if I'm going to acquire a business, start a business, or whatever it is, so I need to have some details about that business so that I can plan. So if I'm starting up the business, so this is what I have to do in order to make the profit. If the proper planning is there, definitely whatever the profit margin I'm estimating to work out. So this includes the financial pictures. So what are the formats that I require in order to plan a financial modeling? If you see, I need the income statement of the business, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and other inputs and assumptions and physical measures I need. Provide useful analysis for decision maker. Financial modeling Financial modeling is a tool to support the decisions whatever you wanted to take. So here when you are calculating based on some past history, so certain calculations will be applying where we will get to know if I start up with this business with this planning whatever I have, so how I'm going to make the profit. So to give that picture, we use this financial modeling. Okay, so here students will be trained on. So here we'll be learning based on FMCG industries, that is fast moving consumer goods industry, automobile industry, manufacturing sector, IT sector, and telecom sector. So 5 reasons why you need to build a financial modeling for your startup. So if I'm starting up a new business, why do I need the financial modeling? To be successful, and startup founder need to have a good handle on your business. The best way to do this is to build a financial model. So when I am preparing a proper financial model, with the proper details related to it, I have proper informations gathered, everything means, so I'll be definitely able to analyze what my future will be holding, which will give the greater insight into your company. It will also make your startup more attractive to venture capital investors, lenders, and the investors. Analytical lens, it's a framework for thinking through business in an objective, critical manner and construct number around each assumption. So when I'm talking about a startup business or anything, so how I'm going to plan, what are the risk factors that I need to handle, so all those things it will come into the picture. Operating the roadmap, a model by its nature, a chronological way of laying out what you expect to happen and when to happen, what it will cost in every granular manner. So here the risk assessment, identifying the key levels of the business helps eliminating the risk points of your startup. So what are the risks that I am going to take, how I'm going to handle it, and how I'm going to overcome those. In particular, the magnitude of downside risk, for example, at most startups, expense procedure, the revenue. So scenario exploration, next point. Models allow for multiple forms of really useful business model analysis. For example, what happens to our break even point when we lower prices by 10%. So if I am starting up the business in order to grab the attention of my customers, clients and all, in some cases I have to face the losses initially, like by giving the discount sale or one on one free or anything as such. As I told, I am talking about a restaurant business, so initially I have to get my customers first, then only I can think about my profit. So in order to grab the attention of my customers, I'll be doing some things. So like at the cheaper rate, discount rate, one on one free, something like that I'll be doing in order to grab the attention of my customers. Where did I stop? How much extra money will we need to raise if sales take a lot longer than we expect? So we cannot predict. So initially the startup business, how long it is going to take, either it is 1 month, 3 months, years, it is but I will be definitely making the profit. But in any startup business, the initial losses are mandatorily going to happen. So then what to do? What do margins look like if we hire direct sales team versus recruiting a network of affiliates? So these things and all it will come. Pitch and sales tool. Last but not least, models are a great way to bolster our pitch to investors, lenders, and strategic partners. at its cost basic. So when you are creating a proper financial modeling, you will get to know that what is the investment that is required, so how much you need to take the loan, debt, or whatever it is. So whatever the investment I have, with this investment how far I can run the business, so what are the risks I can handle. So all those things you will get to know when we are preparing a financial model. At its most basic, the model illuminates the explains how much money you need and how much you will make for the investors or partners. Okay, so financial modeling is going to give you a clear picture of how the things are going to work out. So when I create this financial model, so here when I use it, the value of the business activities I'll get to know, helping in planning the situation. So I'll get a clear picture where what is going wrong, so where I need to concentrate more. So if I am able to analyze that portions, I'll be able to make up the quick decisions to overcome those risks. Can answer the following: returns of the money invested in the project, so I can get to know, so whatever the amount I have invested, what is the returns I'm going to get, profit returns, when the project will reach cash positive, means after the initial losses, from when I can see the positive ratings in my profit. So those things, break even points. If return is X%, then what would the cost of the business activities? I'll be able to analyze how long project can survive without further investment. So initial investment I have done, so how long the business can run with whatever the investment I have done with the initial losses. So after this certain time period, I can see the profit slowly, but it will increase. So till when I can estimate that one. So this helps to examine the financial and physical scenarios, productive and performance measurements, expansions, new capacity building up. So model is going to help us out in all those sectors. So when I'm talking about this one, so here a financial model is going to give me the clear picture about the valuation of the company. So if I'm talking about the valuation of company, if you can explain me what is that valuation company means?
It represents the financial position of the company, how much
Very good,
in what position it stands in.
very good. Then valuation of assets.
Like revaluation of the assets, like even if it is appreciating the asset or depreciating some assets, fixed assets, so they have to value it every year.
Very good. So now I'm coming to mergers and acquisitions. So I'm a startup company. Now I am well established. So now I can think whether I can merge my company with some other thing, or I can acquire the company with some other thing. So can you give me some examples where this terms mergers and acquisitions coming into real time? Any such
Mergers,
companies you know?
uh, Vodafone and Idea recently they've merged and become VI.
Okay, so here Vodafone is merged to Idea, or Idea is merged to Vodafone.
They've both merged and they've become a new company.
Oh, it has become a new company. Okay, Vodafone has acquired, Vodafone has merged their business with Idea.
Yes.
Okay, so
Ma'am,
some example. Sorry.
Byju's and Akash have merged together the
Okay,
online education platform.
okay, very good. Any other examples? So when do I think
PVR and
about
INOX.
PVR and Inox? So when do I think about merging my business?
When you want to expand your reach.
Yes. When I wanted to expand the size of my business, I will plan for merging. Acquisition. Give me some examples for acquisition. Any company which has acquired the other company.
Ma'am,
Tata
it is
acquired Jaguar.
Sorry, Tata company acquired Jaguar. That is the automobile showroom, what you're talking about? Automobiles?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Then anyone else? Somebody was telling.
Air India.
Sorry?
Air India got privatized.
Your voice is not clear, ma.
Ma'am, acquisition of Ambuja Cement by Adani Group.
Very good. Okay, anyone else? So now tell me, at what point of time I will think about acquisition? So for merging means when I wanted to expand my business, I'm going to merge. So when do I do the acquisition?
For expansion only we acquire more companies.
Okay, so I can tell in this way also where I don't want to make a huge investment. So I will see that I wanted to increase the size of my clients. I wanted to increase the size of my customers. So it's not the size of my business. My business still in that same size only without making big investments. I just wanted to make the expansion. So what I will do is acquisition means usually one company is acquiring the other company means the company which is acquiring the other company will be the weaker side. Okay, so they will acquire the company which is going somewhere low, whatever the remaining customers or whatever the things that is left out with them. So at the lower investment I wanted to make it mine. So merging means, so as you told, both the companies are doing well and good. I just wanted to increase the size of my business. That time I'll go for mergers. Acquisition, moreover, it will happen when one business is going loss and they are all about to shut down the business. They have to close. So that time what I will do is instead of closing that business, I'm going to acquire it at a very low investment. So there whatever the customers, whatever it is there, it is definitely going to come to my business. So when in that kind of scenarios we do this acquisitions. Okay, so now option pricing. Option pricing. So just now we discussed. So initially, my business is a startup. So initially, I cannot sell all the items in my restaurant at a very high rate. So if I sell at the high rate, nobody, not even one customer also will enter my restaurant. So initially, I'm going to see how the pricing can be done, how it can be adjusted. So initially I have to sell it at a lower rate, or I have to do some gimmicks in order to grab the customers. Like I might be giving at a discount rate or one on one free. So if you have this many varieties, I'm going to give you one jamun free, or this items are at the lower rate. So something like that where I have to take the risk. So once I reach my customers, then obviously I'm going to increase the rate of my items. So whatever the food items I'm going to sell, I'm gradually going to increase. So option pricing means here the changes, the variations that I'm going to do with my pricing. So I'm not going to tell I'm going to sell it at a very high rate only or something like that until unless I get the customers. Okay, so budgeting and forecasting. What is budget? In simple terms only, I don't want that
Basically,
technical terms and
uh,
all. Sorry.
basically, where to allocate our money. And in what way should we allocate, and in this particular year, what will be our expenses and what will be our incomes. So we are
Okay,
budgeting on that.
very good. Anyone else?
Analyzing and preparing.
Like, so let's not think into that business terms and all. Let's not get so complicated or technical. So in simple terms, so next month you get your pocket money. So
We will make a budget on how we are going to spend our money and how much we are going to save for later,
yes.
like that.
So budget means, so in simple terms, very neatly you have explained. So whatever the pocket money I'm going to get, so I'm going to plan accordingly. So traveling, I'm going to use this much of money only. So if I'm going out for snacks and all, or any such small dinners, lunch or anything, this much amount only I'm going. So when I am having a proper budgeting plan, these are the requirements I need, for which this is the things I need to invest. So what is the amount that I need for each and everything? So once after all those things, how I can make the savings? So that is budget and forecasting. The same thing it is implemented in the business. So whatever the money I have, how I'm going to plan accordingly, so how I can make the profit out of it, wherein I'm not getting into loss also. The main thing, that one. Capital allocation. Capital allocation.
What all assets we are going to buy, or from where, yeah, what all assets, in what way we are going to distribute our assets or buy them.
Yes. Very good. So either I'm going to invest the entire 100% from my end, or I'm going to go for the debt, that is loan, or I'm going to have a partnership, or I'm going to make it a public limited. What? How I'm going to plan for the investment, raising the capital.
Same thing, ma'am. How we are we going to raise capital from the equity or from debt or from partnership?
Very good. Next, we are coming for risk management. In a business, when I'm talking about risk, so these are expected risk. So when I'm starting up with the business, I should be aware of the risk that I'm going to face. So as I told, I wanted to start up with a restaurant. So just blindly, I cannot tell that from the day one only I'm going to make a handsome profit. No. So there will be certain risk which has to be expected. That is initial losses, and how am I going to reach to my customers by the flavor wise, am I reaching to that level? So all those things I need to keep in mind where I'm going to take the risk. And if I am aware of that risk, I will be able to handle that risk, and I'll be able to overcome that risk. So if I am thinking that I'm not going to face any risk, or I'm not going to get into any trouble, it is not going to happen. So whatever the business you are getting started or anything, you should be aware of what are the risk factors that I am going to face here, how I am going to handle it, and how I am going to overcome it. So that is called as risk management. Okay, so these are some of the things which will get the insight when I'm doing the financial modeling. So how to prepare a financial modeling for a company?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma.
I have a doubt. What is
Yes.
the difference between capital allocation and raising capital?
So capital allocation means, so initial investment. As I am a startup company, so I am planning that I will invest up to 10 lakh, 20 lakh, like that. Okay, so before I start up with the business, my estimation is this much. Okay, so now whatever the amount I have, with that I am planning accordingly and starting up the business. Now I am thinking to expand my business. I've seen the growth, I'm making a handsome profit. Now I wanted to expand the business wherein I need some more investment. Okay, so only with my profit I cannot expand the business. So there it is, there is a requirement of raising the capital. So where there is there is some investment has to be done further, so that is raising capital. How am I going to do it? So again, initially I'm starting up with 100% my own money only. Later part I have to increase the size of the business where it is making the profit. I know that if I make some investment, this business is going to make much more profit. But that investment is required. How I'm going to fund that? So that is raising capital. So how I'm going to plan it accordingly? Am I going to add some partners into my business where they can make the investment, or I'm going to convert my private limited to public limited where I'm going to give some shares for the public where I'm getting the investment into my business, or what? How I'm going to do it? So that is your raising the capital. So when you know you are going towards your profit, that investment what is required, how you are going to handle it, how you are going to raise that capital.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so now how to prepare financial modeling for the company? What are the basic requirements that I need in order to create a financial model? So historical information, as I told, the past history of the company is very much important. So here, when I'm talking about the past history, I'm going to dig out with the balance sheet of the company, income statements, cash flows, debt service. So based on this historical information, after gathering all those things, I'm going to analyze relationship, making the assumptions. So when I get the past history, I can see the growth rate. So from year on year, how the growth is being increased, how it is in the increase ratio, how, what are the operating margins of the business. So is there any business like they have started up with any new branch, or they have done the expansion, what it is, and refinancing. So I will get to know the clear picture of this. Once analyzing and I'm getting the assumption how it has happened, I'll be coming to the project sales cost other. So by this information, I'll be able to get to know what are the revenue they have made till then, cost of goods sold, operating margins, debt services. So once I get this, so develop complete financial analysis. So based on this past history, I am going to forecast the future now. So I got to know that presently this business is making the revenue, how it is making the revenue, what is the cost of goods sold, what is the operating margins they have, what is the debt services. So now from the present, I'm going to calculate the future. So wherein I'll get to know the balance sheet, whether I'll be able to do the proper business, the income statement I'll be able to raise, cash flows monthly and weekly if required, industry and ratio analysis. So by the, so whatever the past history till the present, I'll be able to forecast the future. So the upcoming 5 years I can tell where this business is going to lead me. So the profit ratio, how much it will be. So these are the things what I have. So currently what it is happening, so I can tell that definitely this business is going to make 30-40% of profit, 70-80% or 100% profit it is going to make. Okay, so like this we are going to prepare the models. So the main three things that will come into picture is balance sheet, cash flow statement, and income statements. So now here the introduction to financial modeling has got completed. So now I hope you people must have got some idea about what is financial modeling is. Correct? So is there any still having any doubts? Need to clarify? So have you got some idea about what is financial modeling is? Tomorrow if somebody asks what is financial modeling is, so you will be able to tell what is financial model. Just we have just started. So don't think that ma'am is asking the question whether we have understood the concept. No. But what is financial modeling? You can brief it. You can tell what is financial modeling is. So once we start working on, you will get the clear picture how the financial modeling actually works. But now you got some idea? Anybody is still having any doubts? Guys, if you maintain silence, I won't be able to understand whether
No,
you have
ma'am.
understood. If any doubts, anybody, please do ask. Any doubts?
Ma'am, I have understood what you are trying to say, but not yet able. If someone asks me what is financial modeling, I won't be able to explain him what it
Yes, yes.
exactly is.
No, initially when we started the class, so most of the people were not aware what is this financial modeling, where it is used. So now you have got some idea that using the financial modeling, when I have to start a business, or I am going to acquire any business, or I'm going to merge the business or something, what are the details I need to concentrate, based on which I can tell that yes, if I start this business, or if I merge this business, or if I acquire this business, I'm going to make a profit. So that much you have understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here we will be working on Excel. Okay. So here we'll be working on Excel. So we'll be starting up with Excel refresher, where we will see how Excel actually works. Then we will be starting with our financial modeling, where we'll be working on 5 different case studies. Okay, so as I told, where we have the past history of the details, informations, what we have, based on it, we will see in the upcoming 5 years how the business is going to do. So we'll solve some 5 case studies so that you will get the clear picture. So before we get into it, we will start up with Excel. So any of you people are aware of Excel? I hope financial modeling, whatever the explanation I have given, it has reached it to some point. You are able to understand, correct? So I hope here you don't have any doubts. We'll start up with Excel. So why I am teaching Excel means here we are going to work on Excel only. The case study, whatever I am talking about, it will be solved on the platform of Excel. Okay. So that is why here you should be having some knowledge about how Excel works. Then we will be able to work on our projects related to the financial modeling. So do anybody has learnt Excel? Have the knowledge of Excel? If you don't have,
No,
never
ma'am.
mind. We will do with some practicals related to Excel, and then only we will start up with our financial modeling. Okay, only one girl told that she is not having the knowledge of Excel. What about others? Everybody are from the same department, or anyone else from different? Everybody are from accounts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So let's start up with MS Excel. So MS Excel, it is one of the component of MS Office. What is MS Office means? It's an application software. So I am the end user. For my business requirements, I have to work on Excel. So Excel is going to give you the things related to your accounts, calculations, whatever the things that comes in your business related to calculations. For that I am going to work on MS Excel. So we have the other components also. Now let's not bother about it. So Excel is a software program produced by Microsoft that allows the user to organize, format and calculate the data using the formulas and functions using the spreadsheet system. So here I'm not going to create the data, whatever the data I am having. So I'm going to organize that data, format the data as per my requirement, and apply the calculations using functions and formulas. What are functions and formulas in Excel? If you see, so functions are predefined things. Like for example, in math we have this formulas like a square plus b square plus 2ab. So in order to solve one problem or to solve one scenario, I need to use this formula. So when I use that formula, I'll be able to solve it and get the conclusion. Likewise, as an end user, so in Excel, by the Microsoft company, they have created many different types of functions which are predefined, or I can tell it as system defined. Like we have text functions, we have math function, we have logical function, we have statistical function, we have financial functions. So we have different types of functions they have created inbuilt. So it is system defined. So what are formulas then? So when I know what are the different types of functions are available, I can experiment. So as an end user, I wanted the output in the form of, not in the text or in the numbers, I wanted the output in the form of graphs. Or I don't want the output in true or false, I wanted the output in some other way. So when I am manipulating these functions, wherein by following the rules, so I am not breaking the rules, the syntax whatever it is written for that particular functions, with bound to that rules, I'm going to manipulate that functions. Like I'm going to combine 2 to 3 different types of functions together, or I'm going to manipulate it. Instead of using VLOOKUP, I will use nested if, or instead of nested if, I am going to use some logical function. So like that, when I'm manipulating, that is called as formula. Okay, so these things I'm going to do it in the spreadsheet system. Spreadsheet is nothing but the work area of Excel. So Excel is one of the best spreadsheet application available for processing several enhanced spreadsheet features. So what are the features? We'll see. So as I told, a calculation in Excel can be performed using functions and formulas, where functions are system defined or predefined and formulas are user defined, which can be manipulated according to the user. So spreadsheet helps us simplify and analyze complex data. So when you look at the work area, it is quite big, that I can analyze any complex data also. We can organize the data, I can format the data, and I can even get the output in the forms of graphs and charts also, wherein I can apply the filtering, sorting, anything. So we can also do set of calculation where we can generate the report. So it can be related to your student, employee, product, and that report I can further analyze it or interpret it. So I can do it very easily. So what are the data types we have in Excel? So there are 4 main data types that we come across in Excel. That is text. So text is nothing but the alphabets. Then we have the numbers. Logical. Logical means here I can tell that the functions, as we discussed. So the functions, moreover 60 to 70% of your functions give the output in the form of true or false. That is booleans. Now I don't want the output to be in true or false, I wanted the output to be in the either way. So that time I'm going to manipulate it. Okay, so this true or false is called as logical functions. Okay, this means you can use the function to determine whether the data in your spreadsheet meets the different measures. And then we are coming to error. So now tell me, forget about Excel, what is error in terms of computer?
When you don't get the output,
Yes, when I don't get
when
the
you don't,
output, I'll be getting the error. Okay, anyone else?
when the
When we
computer is
put
not able to
command,
understand what you type or what
Sorry.
you want, when the computer is not able to understand what outcome you want
Yes,
or the question is
yes,
put in.
very good. So when my input string is incomplete or any mistakes are there, when the computer couldn't analyze what is the input string, what is the user's requirement is, so then I'll be getting this error. So in Excel also we'll be getting different types of errors. So if I'm able to identify that error, I can easily overcome, rectify that errors also. So these are some of the data types in Excel. So let's look at the Excel. One second, guys. So let's look at the interface of Excel. So there are three ways how I can start the Excel. From Windows, I'm going to type in Excel. So I'll get the Excel from here also. Windows R, I'm going to type in Excel from here. So I can start my Excel from here also, or right click on your screen, go to new, and here you have your Excel. So like this also I can start my Excel. Okay. So guys, if I'm going fast or you are not able to follow, you are having any doubts, please ask, please tell, ma'am, you are going a bit faster. If you can reduce the speed, we'll be able to follow. Okay. Guys, understood? Okay, let's
Yes, ma'am.
start. Okay, let's start with the explanation of interface. So this is your Excel interface. So in the leftmost corner, if you see, this is called as Office button. I hope everybody are able to see my screen. So in the leftmost corner, I have the Office button. When I click on this Office button, okay, so the Office button, this is quick access toolbar. Okay, the Office button is not there. So this is quick access toolbar. Quick access toolbar means here whatever the tools you see, it is not mandatory that you are going to use all the tools. So you are going to use one or two tools very frequently. So those type of tools you can set it up over here. How I'm going to set up the tools over here? So I have save, undo, and redo I have. So I'll click on this drop down. I'll go to more commands. So from here you can see I have save, undo, redo. So now frequently I'm going to use mail. So I will select my mail and I'll click on add. So here I have added. So anything else that I can use? Okay, so I wanted to apply the filters. I'm using the filters very frequently. I'll select filters, click on add. So two more tools I have added. I'll click on OK. See the two tools, whatever I have added. So that is applied here. Now in order to remove it, I'll click on this drop down. I'll go to more commands. I'll just uncheck. I'll just select and click on remove. Select and remove. Now I have save, mail, and filter. Here you have save, undo, redo, mail, and filter. In this I have removed this undo and redo. So undo and redo is removed. So like this you can apply the quick access toolbar. Really. So then we have the title bar. So title bar will tell you what is the title of your file is. Okay. So by default Excel files are called as workbooks. Okay. So here you can see the name book. Until unless you give the file name, the book name will appear. Once you give the file name, whatever the file name you have given, that is going to appear over here. Then we have the close button. Then we have the restore down. So restore down is nothing but taking the second level size of your screen. So now you can see it is showing as maximize. Maximize is nothing but fit all the four corners of your screen. Then minimize, here your Excel file will not get closed, but it will be hidden in your taskbar here. Once I click, again my file is going to open. So this is about my top menu. Then we have the menu bar. Menu bar consists of different types of tabs: file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help. These are the tabs. File, it is called as file menu. Why? Because it opens like a window. And other things so consist of ribbon. So now here you can see home tab consists of ribbon. Okay, this is home ribbon. When I click on this insert, now you can see there is a change in the ribbon. This is insert ribbon, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help. Like this we have different types of different ribbons for each and every tab. Okay, so then we have the ribbon. So ribbon consists of three things in it. What are those? So ribbon is having clipboard. So these are the groups. So clipboard, font, alignment, number, styles, cells, editing, these are the groups. And each groups consist of different types of tools. Okay, so here I have the font style, font size, making bold, italic, underline, giving the borders to my cells, filling the color of for my cell, text color. So like this we have different types of tools. And then we have the dialog launcher. So ribbon consists of group, tools, and in Excel it is also called as commands, and then we have the dialog launcher. What is this dialog launcher means? You can see this font group consists of some tools in it. So when I click on this dialog launcher, whatever the tools that you see in this particular group will be a little bit explained detailedly or elaboratedly. Here you can see the font size is, font style is there, how you wanted italic, bolds, the size of the thing, underlining, the text color, all those things we have it here. So the same details will be explained little bit detailedly. Okay, so these are the three things what we have in the ribbon. Ribbon consists of three things. First one is group, then the font, sorry, then the tools or commands, then we have the dialog launcher. Then we have the name box. So name box is going to tell where is your active cell is. So before we get into this, let's understand the work area. So work area, it will be in the form of tabulation. So tabulation is nothing but the small cells what you see, this many cells put together, it is called as tabulation, and in Excel it is called as spreadsheet. Okay, so this tabulation are in the form of rows. Here rows are identified by numbers and columns are identified by alphabets. So as I open a new file or a new sheet, you can see by default the first cell will be highlighted. Okay, it will be like bordered one. So here you can see immediately there is a bold texted, bold bordered one cell. So that is called as active cell. Okay, and name box is going to tell where is your active cell is. How am I going to identify an active cell? So now I'll click somewhere here. So now you can see my column H and row number 11. So where your column and row intersect each other, so that particular meeting point is called as your cell address. Where my column H and row 11 both meet each other, that is called as active cell, and that particular cell address will be shown in your name box. Okay, and whatever the data I enter, it can be entered only in your active cell. Wherever my active cell is, there only I can enter my data. Nowhere else my data can be entered. Okay, so this is about your name box and the active cell, and this is formula bar. So what is this formula bar is means, so whatever the data I enter in an active cell, whether it can be a text, so whatever I enter in an active cell, that will be reflected in your formula bar. Okay, so here I am typing and it is reflected in my formula bar. Now I have entered the text. Now I will enter the number. So you can see I entered the number here. The number is reflected in your formula bar. It can be your special characters, so that also will be shown in your formula bar. So whatever you enter in your active cell, that will be shown in your formula bar. Now here I will tell equals NICT. So the same thing is visible in your formula bar, equals NICT. I'll just press enter. Now here in the spreadsheet it is showing something like hashtag name question mark, and here it is telling equals NICT. So can anybody tell me what it might be? Any guess?
Excel
It's
has
show,
randomly its
there is
formula.
no name called as NICT. There's no formula or there's no formula named NICT. That's why it's showing name.
Yes,
Right.
it's an error. Very good. So anything without equals, if I'm entering, either it can be a text, it can be number, it can be special character. Excel understand it's a raw data. Whatever the user is typing in, I have to simply reflect the same thing. But when I give something starting with equals, so here Excel will understand that the user needs some output for this. They are going to write a function, they are going to either write a formula, or they are going to write some calculation for which I need to give an output. But when I told NICT, so it is showing as an error. Why it is showing as an error? Because there is no such calculation called as NICT. There is no such function called by name NICT. There is no such formulas called NICT. So it couldn't analyze what is that. So if it couldn't analyze what output it will give. So that's why it is showing as an error. Why name error? Because it is a text. So that's why it is showing as an error. Now if I tell equals 2 plus 2, simple calculation. So I'll tell 2 plus 2. I'm getting 4. So now here I'll just tell equals 99 divided by some empty cell. It is showing divisional error. Why it is showing divisional error? Why? Because my question is incomplete. 99 should be divided by what? I'm telling empty cell. So uh, why I need to divide it with an empty cell? The question is incomplete, so it couldn't analyze what it has to do. That's why it is telling it's a divisional error. Okay, so there are different types of error relatively it will appear. So here you can see division hashtag div slash. So here if you notice I have given slash forward slash for division. So that's why it is showing the symbol. So it is a divisional error. So like this Excel has its way to understand, analyze and give the output with. Okay, so formula bar, it is going to tell whatever the questions you have written there. So here I'm getting a output 4, but in formula bar it is showing the question what I raised 2 plus 2. In the spreadsheet I'll get the output. In the formula bar it is going to tell what is the question that I have. So that's why you can understand it's formula bar. Okay, then we have the vertical scroll, then we have the horizontal scroll, and then by default we will be having one sheet. Okay, previously like before 2016 we had 3 sheets: sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So after 2016 onwards, they have made it like sheet 1. So by clicking on this plus, I can add the sheets. So how many number of sheets I can add means max 255. It is based on your computer storage. Okay. If your storage is big, it can increase more than 255 also. So the storage, whatever it is available in generally. So with that storage, you can add up to 255 sheets in one file. Okay. Then if I look at the work area, so here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, the row numbers till what it is getting stretched. I'll just press control and down arrow. The last row number is 10,48,576 row. I wanted to come back to the first row. I'll press control and up arrow. I came back to A1 cell. That is the first row. Now I wanted to see how many number of columns are there. I'll press control and right arrow. So the last column is except D. So the column number, if you see, it is 16,384 columns are there. I wanted to come back to A1 cell. Press control and right arrow. I'll come back to A1 cell. So from this name box, can I travel anywhere in my spreadsheet? Now it is A1. I'll just type in JKL456. So now my active cell is in A1. I'll just press enter. So is my active cell in JKL456? Yes, it is
Yes,
already there.
ma'am.
So I
Yes,
will tell
ma'am.
ASD123. Now I wanted my active cell to go to ASD123. So my active cell is in ASD123. Now I'll tell MNO 963. MNO 963. Now I wanted to come back to A1 cell. I'll type in A1. I came back to A1 cell. So like this, you saw how very big the work area is. That is, in one sheet you have almost 10,48,576 rows and 16,384 columns. Now some people might be wondering, so how ma'am got to know that the columns are addressed by alphabets? How she is telling that it is 16,384 columns are there, wherein the last column is mentioned as except D? So I will tell you how it is. So I'll go to file, I'll go to options, I will go to formulas, and here I have R1C1 reference style. I'll just check this, check in. So my column address has changed to 1234. Now I'll press control and right arrow. So the XFD last column, now you can see it is 16,384 columns. I'll come back to A1. So now it could have been like this, so that I'll get to know how many number of columns are there. But when I have to identify the row and column, so 1:1, I cannot understand. That's why they have converted this column address to be in alphabets. Now I'll go back and I'll change it to alphabets only. So I'll go to file, options, go to formulas, uncheck this R1C1 reference style and click on OK. I got it back. Okay, so then we have the horizontal scroll which will move from left to right, and then we have the status bar. So here you can see this is the bottom line, that is a status bar, and then we have the different types of views available. So the same view options are available here in the view tab also. And then we have the zoom bar. Zoom bar is going to increase only your work area, not your entire screen. Okay, only your work area is going to get increased with your screen size. So like this I can increase the size. So this is about your screen interface of Excel. So anybody is having any doubts, you can just have a look at this. If you think that I did not understood this, I'll explain you once again.
Ma'am, is equal to sign necessary for any question?
Any question that I am raising now, without equals, if I tell 2 plus 2, it is just going to keep it as a raw data. Excel will not understand. So here by default, by uh, this one only, they have made Excel understand that if any questions, if you have to give an answer, the user has to start the command set with equals. Then only they can ask you any question for which you are going to give the output. Without any equals, if they ask any question, it is a raw data. You are not going to give any output. Rather than it, you are going to just display the values whatever they have typed as it is.
Okay, ma'am.
So in the Excel refresher, we are going to see some simple calculations and all, how it will be applied, the functions, how it will be written. Now for the understanding purpose, I'm just explaining. So any output you require, the calculation has to be applied, the function has to be written, the formula has to be written. It has to start with equals. Without equals, Excel will not give you any output. Without equals, if you type anything, it can be text, it can be number, it can be special character, it is a raw data. Whatever you are typing, Excel is going to show as it is. Clear?
Ma'am, I have one more doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, in one cell where you have written the raw data, it is showing in the left hand side, and
Yes.
where you have applied the formula, it is showing in the right hand side. Is there
So
any?
yes, ma'am. So that also it is there. So Excel analyzes the data. Like how it is going to analyze means, so if I'm telling that I'm entering a text, entering a text. When I press enter, text is left aligned. Now if I'm telling 1, 2, 3, numbers are right aligned. Now if I wanted to enter a date, control colon, dates are right aligned. Now if I wanted to enter the time, control shift, colon, right aligned. So if I wanted Excel to understand this number has a text, so I have typed the number. Now I wanted Excel to consider this number as text. So I'll just go to the home tab, and here in the number group, I have this drop down wherein I'll just come down, and here I have the option to convert, means to make Excel understand that whatever the number I have typed, consider this as a text. See, it is showing
Okay,
it's a
ma'am.
text. So
Yes, ma'am.
there are ways how it is going to take it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other doubts in the Excel interface? Okay, some 2 3 slides I have left out. Let me complete with this so that tomorrow onwards we can directly start with Excel refresher. And whatever the things I'm going to solve, I'm going to share it in the group. Okay, before your class gets commenced, I wanted you people to download the file. Okay, so is there anybody who's going to work along with me, so that I can give you some time in order to do it then and there, so that later we can move further? Is there anybody is working like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will I will share the files, you download the file and keep it ready. So once I show it on my system, I'll give you some time in order to try it out on your systems and get to know. Okay? So Excel files are called as workbook. In Excel file, we can insert 255 number of sheets, as I told, based on the storage capacity. So the normal storage, you can add up to 255 sheets in it. So by default, you will have one sheet from 2016. The number of rows and columns will be, rows will be 10,48,576 rows you have, and columns you have 16,384 columns. Rows are identified by numbers and columns are identified by alphas. The seven most popular uses of Excel, if you see, so it is not only I can tell that it is used for calculation or accounting of the business or anything as such. Excel can be used for wide ranges. So first thing that comes is the data entry and storage. At its most basic level, you saw the work area, how big it is. So data entry and storage, collection and verification of the business data, administrative and managerial duties, accounting and budgeting, data analysis. So I can create the report. Based on that report, I can create the visualization. So one dashboard we will create and see. Okay, in Excel, before we complete and start with our financial modeling, we'll do that one also. And forecasting. So as I told, we are going to build our financial modeling. So we have different types of functions and formula. The most popular ones, if you see, what are the articles means, where I can further manipulate these functions. We have XLOOKUP, we have VLOOKUP, we have sum functions, COUNTIF, if functions, ifs I have, sum if. So these are some of the popular functions. Apart from it, we have filters, we have the pivot table, we have different types of things that we are going to learn in the Excel refresher. So then we have the extension shows what type of file it is. Okay, if it is a basic workbook, basic Excel workbook, the extension is .xlsx. so if I'm enabling any macros in my Excel workbook, the extension will be .xlsm, where M stands for macros. So that will be the thing. Then if I'm working on VBA, Visual Basics for Applications, if I'm enabling VBA in my Excel workbook, then the extension should be .xlsb. And if I'm creating any template in my Excel, like I wanted to create a template of my invoice, I can create it and save it as a template. So whenever I need, I can use it. So for that, the extension will be .xltx, where T stands for templates. Okay. So these are the shortcut keys what I have used in order to go down to the last row, come to the last column. So like that. Okay. So here I will stop. It is 7:30. So any doubts? So I will share the recordings will be shared in the respective group. Okay. So you can follow up with the recordings if you are having any doubts initially. So beginning of the class, we will clarify with the previous days any doubts or anything is there. We'll clarify it and then we'll continue further. Once again, I'm telling, if you are feeling that I'm going a bit faster or you are getting stuck anywhere in between, having doubts, please do ask and please do tell. Okay. So I hope today's class might have got some, you must have got some idea about what is financial modeling is. So we will learn it in better way, so that by the end of our completion of this sessions, you'll be able to tell that yes, we know what is financial modeling is. Okay guys, so shall I wind up the session for today? Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, will we get the PPTs?
PPT I will share it before we finish with all our entire session. Okay, so that time I'll share the notes, but whatever the practicals I'll be teaching day to day, before the class getting commenced, I will put it in the group so that you people can download this PPT. It will be shared only in the last. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
so that might be related to your financial modeling or this one. Both I'll be sharing it before your exam. I'll share. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we wind up the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a good day. Good night. You people can leave.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.